Hey guys, it's Lee, and today I have a story time video for you, which is different. I've not really done a story time before, aside from Cuba. This is not exactly a growth video to be making. I look like trash. I've had a breakout. I'm not wearing makeup. I had an exam this morning, but I wanted to tell you guys what happened because it is so dramatic. My life literally sounds like an episode of like a telenovela. I don't even know. I've been watching Jane the Virgin a lot, so like telenovelas are in my head. But basically, I went to see BTS in concert. If you didn't know, I went to Wembley day 2. I went on my own. I was supposed to be meeting a girl there, but I don't know, we couldn't find each other or something. But it was fine. I still had a great time in the concert itself, but I want to tell you all of the drama that happened before the concert and after the concert and why I'm mad at Wembley. And I'm also going to be making a like formal complaint. Like it wasn't great. I will just say that the boys were fantastic. I had a really good time. I'm not going to share any of my videos. I have posted like a couple clips here and there of like highlights and like fun moments, like doing the crackhead fan chant. But I am screaming a lot in these videos, and also I waited 5 years to see these boys, and they're kind of personal to me and I want to keep them for myself. So sorry if I'm being selfish, but like there's plenty of other videos on the internet from the tour. Yeah, okay, this is gonna be a really long video. Let's just get into it. So the morning of the concert, I decided not to go to Wembley really early because I was sat in block 110. So like I didn't need to go really early. I wasn't like meeting up with a bunch of people like I did with Monster X and Victon, so I didn't need to go early and sit in the queue. So I decided to leave around 2ish. I booked a train in advance for 2:45 from Milton Keynes to Harrow and Wealdstone because I heard that it's easier to get the Bakerloo line than it is to go from Euston and then like mess around with different tubes. So that was the route I was planning on taking. So I booked the train. This is where things started to go horribly wrong, and I thought that this would be the end of my drama, but apparently not. So this isn't really relevant to the story, but like I'm listing all of the bad things that happened that day, so I figured I might as well just add it in. Basically, I rang 3 different taxi companies. One said they had nothing available, one told me to wait an hour, and the other one said they'd be here as soon as possible. So I took the third one because as soon as possible was gonna be quicker than an hour in my head, right? 50 minutes I was stood outside waiting for this taxi. 50 minutes. I messaged my friend Owen and I was like, look, my taxi is like not coming, can you take me? And then as soon as he said yes, there was a honk. And who's in my driveway? The taxi. Not that dramatic, I know, but like 50 minutes for a taxi. It was a Sunday. Why is it so busy? It was 2 o'clock on a Sunday, okay? This taxi, I rang for the taxi an hour before my train was due to leave, and I only live like 20 minutes from the train station. So like what the heck? Anyway, so I knew that I was gonna miss my train. My train was actually due to come at like 41 minutes past. We got into the station at 43. So while I was in the taxi, I cancelled my ticket, got a partial refund of like £10. Turns out that train was delayed, so I had to buy another ticket for the same train. Infuriating, I know. Just wait till you hear what Wembley did. Okay, so yeah, I got to the train station and I was like, okay, I might as well buy a return ticket because I'm here, and like it only cost me £20 and like, but just remember, I bought a return ticket. Okay, here it is. Here are my tickets. I bought an outward one and a return. Just wait. So I get the train to Harrow and Wealdstone, I get the Bakerloo line to Wembley Central, and I did like a 15-minute walk following a girl who had a BTS hat on, and I saw the little like BTS doors on the back of the cap, and I was like, I'm following her. So I get into Wembley. Well, not like into Wembley. I was like stood outside, bought some merch. I do already own Army Bomb version 2, which I took with me because I wasn't actually planning on buying a version 3, but you can't use this at the at Wembley, like it's not controllable. But I thought, you know, I can turn it on and wave it around still because it has batteries, right? Anyway, I was in the merch stand, I was in the line for the merch stand, which was like stupidly long. Gave a girl my bobble because I thought I'd be nice. You know, put some good out into the world after the terrible start to my day that I'd had. And I also bought this, which is super cute, and it's got like the boys all on the back and it says speak yourself on one arm and love yourself on the other. But anyway, I ended up buying version 3. Don't tell my dad. He bought me version 2 because I was trying to get tickets to the O2 concert last year, and like a week after my dad gave me the bomb as an early birthday present, a week later they announced version 3. I didn't tell my dad. Please nobody tell my dad that I bought this one because he may kill me. But yeah, I got this, so that was that. I think I paid like half what my dad paid for mine. Oops. But anyway, so I get out of the merch stand and I needed to take my medication, so I went into Costa to get a drink. They got my drink wrong twice. Okay, first of all, they didn't have the drink that I ordered. So I was like, okay, I'll get the red summer berries one instead. And they kept giving me like different kinds of fruit tea, and I was like, this is not what I ordered. But while I was stood in the queue, somebody walked past me as I was getting my medication container out of my bag, and they spilled all over the floor. So just remember that I don't have any medication. I took the tablets that I had then. I had one thing had stayed, well, 2 things had stayed shut, but one of them was empty, and the other 2 that were full had opened and spilled onto the floor. So I took the medication that I had. I was like, it's fine. After the concert, I'm going straight home, so I can just take them as soon as I get in. Right? Just remember this. Remember that I have no medication, okay? Okay, so I get out of Costa, I take my tablets, I eat some food, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna head into the stadium because it was about like 5, 6 o'clock, I don't know. And I walk over to this guard and I'm like, hey, where's entrance F? And is there a way of getting there without stairs? Because I was seeing everybody walk up these like big stairs by this bridge thing next to the merch stand, and I was like, no. Like, I'm not doing it. And he was like, oh yeah, just like if you go up these stairs that are like right by the bridge, then you should be able to find a lift, so you don't have to do the stairs up to the actual entrances. So after like talking to like 3 or 4 different people, I finally found the lift. Got into the lift and the guy was like, what are you doing here? And I was like, oh, I have a disability and I can't really do stairs, so I'm using the lift. And he was like, no, I mean your entrance. And I was like, I mean, you could have just asked which entrance, not like, what are you doing here? But thanks. And he was like giving me these really convoluted instructions, and like basically you come out of the lift at G and I was at F, which is the next one over. So like I don't get why it was so complicated to him, but like, thanks, you tried. I got through the turnstile and I didn't realize you have to push them. So I like stumbled through, knocked my shoulder and my hip, and almost gave the security guard directly in front of me a heart attack when I was like falling apart in front of him. But anyway, I get to block 110 and I hand my ticket to the guy and I'm like, where do I go? And he goes, okay, do you have pitch access? And I was like, I don't think so, but like I was in block 110, which is like one of the bottom ones, like opposite the stage. So like, I mean, maybe was my response. And he was like, okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna go over to block 108, it's just down there. And I was like, so I took a step back and I was like, my ticket says block 110 though. And he's like, why didn't you say that? And I was like, you literally read my ticket, like, are you illiterate? So I walk past him and I'm like, okay, but these signs say 31 to 40 and I'm in 23. And he's like, no, go to that woman in orange, she'll direct you. Will she hack? she was like, oh, you're up this side. So I walk over to that side. I'm about to go up the steps to it, and she's like, no, sorry. You're in 242. That means you're on this side. So I walk over and I go up those steps, and I'm like, this is completely wrong. This is rows 31 to 40. Like I was literally just saying to the other guy, where is my row? So I walk back down the steps, and I'm like, I'm in row 23. And she was like, oh, you should have said something. I'm like, you people keep reading my ticket and sending me in the wrong direction. It is not my fault. You cannot read basic numbers, okay? So I finally find my seat, and the concert was great. Aside from like the 14, 15-year-olds that were sat around me, like overly sexualizing the boys, which was a bit weird. Like, you are literally minors, and like, they're never gonna date you, so like, stop. Just, like, it was gross. Like, I actually felt nauseous. But I had a really fun time at the concert. I was stood up most of the time, aside from like when the VCRs were playing. And like, thank God I sat down for those, because my hip was really, really starting to hurt. Remember? I popped it on my way through the turnstile, okay? So once the concert is over, I get up, I go to leave, and this like lovely dad lets me go in front of him because he sees I'm like struggling to walk because I popped my hip earlier and I've been stood up for the entire concert, pretty much, right? As I'm walking up the stairs to like get out of block 110 and like back out into where all the like shops and merch is, like inside Wembley, I popped my hip again and I am in agony. I am overdue for my medication. Luckily I did take spares with me, so I had, but like I didn't realize that the strip was pretty much empty, so I had 1 tablet to take, which is like definitely not enough. Like 2 barely touches the pain I have. So yeah, sure, like I'll take 1. I didn't take it just yet. So I get out, I go in the lift and I go down, and I get about like 2-3 entrances over from where the lift entrance was, and I am in so much pain I literally have to stop walking. Like, bear in mind, I was like stumbling out of Wembley. I was in agony, right? I literally just stopped in the middle of the path. There were like people walking in all kinds of directions around me, and I was like, fuck this, I'm just gonna sit down for a second, you know, catch my breath, calm myself, and then I'll go. When I sit down though, I get really, really dizzy because I drop too fast. Heart rate, blood pressure, doesn't match up, whatever. Anyway, this lovely woman comes over to me and, oh, okay, signal boost this video. Try and find these women, because honestly, they were so nice to me. This one lady gave me her water bottle. They sat with me. They made sure I was okay. There was a woman and her daughter, I believe, and then there was another woman with 2 of her daughters and her daughter's friends. And like, genuinely, they're probably never gonna see this, but if you do, thank you so much. Like, it meant the world to me that you like sat with me and took care of me for a little bit. It was like asking me if I like what was wrong, what I had, stuff like that, and like I talked her through, you know, popping my hip out twice and blah blah blah. I was like, I don't think I have any medication. I dropped them earlier. I do have a spare strip. I took them out of my bag, and I was like, I have 1 tablet. Crap. So I took that 1 tablet, with the lovely bottle of water that the lady gave me, and this woman was like, okay, it's not okay for you to leave like this. Like, I know you say you're fine, but I'm gonna go get somebody. I was like, okay, sure. Like, I know you're just trying to help, so I'm not gonna make a big deal of it. I'll just explain to them what happened, tell them I'm fine, and they'll let me go. Right? No. So this guy comes over, he asked me for all my details, but he asked me like, okay, there is a girl like crying in agony on the floor in front of you, right? You give her a piece of paper so she can write down her name. Bearing in mind, I was wearing my wrist brace because I was waving around an army bomb for hours, you know? I didn't, like, it hurt. I know I'm taped now, but I had my brace on at the time. And he was making me write this, and I was like, this ain't it. This isn't fun, right? So I wrote my name down, and then I like shifted to hand it back up to him because he didn't bother bending down, right? And then he goes, I need your address too. I was like, okay, thank you. I'm gonna write that down too. Give that back. And then he was like, yeah, and your date of birth. And I was like, why couldn't you just tell me all of this when it was down here with me, you fucking idiot? Anyway, That was the least of my concerns. The least painful part of my day, right? So he was like, okay, I need to fill out an incident report. We're gonna send you over to medical, they're gonna assess you, and we're either going to help you get either into a taxi or just like to the tube, and failing that, we're gonna send you in an ambulance to hospital. Can I just point out, the like new diagnostic criteria for like EDS patients says that if you have a dislocation or if like you have like any kind of pain that isn't like life-threatening, you shouldn't go to A&E because A&E doctors don't know how to treat you. But apparently these Wembley people didn't understand that and like wanted to go ahead with their own plans. They put me in a wheelchair. I met this lovely guy called Aaron. Shout out to him. He was really nice, but like a little creepy thing happens that I'm gonna tell you in a second. But yeah, he was a really nice guy. He wasn't actually that creepy, it was just a bit inappropriate. But anyway, so I get into this wheelchair. They like helped me into it because I was like dizzy AF and like couldn't stand because my hip hurt, right? Cannot stress this enough. And they were like, we can't take you to the tube station. I didn't know the way from Wembley Park, and like I didn't want to mess around getting on and off different tubes and stuff and like walking up and down escalators when I knew that if I went to Wembley Central, I literally had to get on the tube for the Bakerloo line, get off and get on pretty much at the same platform at Wealdon and Burrows. That is a case for land law for the exam I had this morning. What's the place called? Harrow and Wealdstone. Okay, I mean they're kind of similar. So I wanted to go that way because I knew it, and I don't know London very well. Like that's like a pretty easy route home. And they're like, it's out of our like footsteps, so we can't technically even take you to Wembley Park, but we can just kind of send you in that direction. And I was like, not happening. Anyway, so they wheel me inside of this like part of the building that was like next to the lift that I came out of, pretty much. And it was like a staff entrance or something. There was like a big circular door and a bunch of escalators and like wristband scanner machines for all of the cleanup crew or whatever. And they sit me down, Aaron sits me down, switches me from a wheelchair into an actual chair. And then this woman comes over, I forget her name. She was really, really lovely. She just took all my details, asked me to explain everything. And she was like, okay, I'm gonna get a medic over and then we'll go from there. So me and Aaron are just like chatting for a little bit, talking about law, you know, uni, life, blah, blah, blah. And this guy is like coming down an escalator and this woman goes, that is your medic. And I was like, that is not my medic. My medic is Jerry, but that is my medic. That's a terrible joke, I'm sorry. Okay, anyway. So this guy comes over and he introduces himself. And actually, he didn't really introduce himself. I didn't know his name. Whether he said it or not, I don't know. I was in too much pain to really care. There were so many people that I was like having to explain myself to. I met like about 6 to 8 members of staff, and I say 6 to 8 because I'm not entirely sure how many people I spoke to, but I know for definite there was about 4 outside and about 4 inside, but they could have been like the same people twice. I genuinely don't know. I only really remember 4 people distinctly because I was in that much pain. I just didn't care. Like I just wasn't paying attention. Sorry. But anyway, I found out that the medic was called Ryan because after explaining myself to him, he was like, we should get you in an ambulance or in a taxi. And I was like, let's do the taxi route because I really shouldn't be going to hospital. My phone was dead, Jerry's phone was dead, and my Nokia, which I took to film the concert on, was also dead. I didn't realise I was sat next to a plug socket until after I'd already been on Ryan's phone. So I messaged Jordan because I couldn't find Jerry on Facebook. I don't know, like privacy settings or something meant that he didn't come up when I searched him. So I found Jordan via my friends because I know my own privacy settings. I messaged him and I was like, can you get Jerry to message this guy or like call him or something? Then eventually through Jordan's Facebook I managed to find Jerry and I messaged him. I was like, Macaniat, it's Leigh, help! By the time Jordan replied to my message, my phone had charged because we found the thing and I had a charger on me. Sorry, this is like really long-winded and like whatever, but the point is a lot of shit is happening and a lot of time is passing, and you need to understand that curfew for this concert was like 10:30 on a Sunday, okay? I ring Jerry and I'm like, can you Uber me back? An Uber from Wembley Stadium, whatever it is, to Buckingham is like £200. Or thereabouts. When I was on the phone to Jerry, that's what he said. Ryan then looked it up and it was like coming up as 168 on his phone. So like that was a no-go. The reason why we were trying to get me in an Uber home is because Wembley held me hostage for so long that the tubes stopped running. They took me indoors in that wheelchair to get a medic to assess me. All the medic did, I mean, God bless him, he was doing a wonderful job, but all the medic did was Facebook search my boyfriend and my housemate. Or rather, he just supervised me doing it on his phone. That is literally, he didn't check me over, he didn't like make sure my hip was okay, like see if it was like back in. I mean, I knew it was back in because it just like slid and came back. Like it didn't like dislocate. He didn't know that, he didn't check, he didn't bother, right? Anyway, so then I was like, okay, how about an Uber to an overground station? How about an Uber to Harrow and Wealdstone? Because that's where my train ticket is valid from. And the last train of the night was at like 1 o'clock. So, you know, I had about half an hour, 40 minutes to get there. Can't be that far, can it? Without even checking, they said they couldn't let me go unless I was either in an ambulance going to hospital and they knew that I was going there, or they physically saw me getting into a taxi. Those were the conditions of my release from my captivity in Wembley Stadium. No. Ryan disappears. Oh, before that, here's the like creepy inappropriate thing. So Aaron comes back and he's like, here is something to cheer you up. And I've also put my number in there. Text me when you get home. Let me know that you're safe. A little inappropriate, but like sweet, and I get it. It was nice. Ryan then asked me to give him the number because it was inappropriate. I get that. I haven't looked at this. I know it's a water bottle because like I could see the shape of it, but I haven't opened it. Oh, cute. Oh, it's got the BTS logo on it. Okay, it's just matte black and then shiny where this is. Okay. Yeah, so I got free BTS merch out of this entire ordeal. So Aaron had already left, then Ryan decided to just leave. He was like, okay, if you're good and like you're on the phone to your boyfriend, then bye. So me, in agony, not able to leave Wembley Stadium unless I am supervised leaving and getting into a taxi, I just walked out. I saw an opportunity and I just frickin' left because I'd been there for over an hour and a half. And I was stressed. Me and Jerry, like, we were trying to get like, I think like 3 different Ubers in the end, but I couldn't find any of them. None of them could find me. There was just a lot, like, it was really hard because Jerry was obviously like in Buckingham trying to do all of this on his phone, and I was crying in like literally bawling my eyes out, not just on the phone to him, but also on the phone to my mum in between him like getting different Uber drivers to try and find me. The one Uber that we could get close enough couldn't get to me because of traffic that didn't exist on the road that I was on, so I don't know what he was talking about. He was definitely confused and not heading in the direction I was in at all in that case. Yeah, anyway, so he cancelled, and Jerry was like, there's a hotel nearby, just go in the hotel. And I was like, no. Like, I point blank refuse. I am getting this last train of the night. And he was like, okay, go to hospital. Just like call an ambulance. I am worried about you. You need to be safe. And I was like, no, they told me not to. If the people who know about EDS are telling me not to go to A&E, then I'm not going to A&E. I don't care what you say. No, I didn't actually like go off on one, but like, yeah, I was too busy crying to really have any kind of response other than, I don't want to. I'm saying it like smiling and laughing and joking about it, but this was honestly like a terrible ordeal. Like, this was actually like one of the worst nights of my life. Yeah. And I mentioned Cuba at the start of this video, and this is one of the worst nights of my life. Okay. Anyway, so in the end, by the time the Uber had cancelled and everything, my phone was on like 8%, I think. And Jerry was like, is there anywhere you can sit? I was like, no, the train station is closed for the night. I got to Wembley Park Station, but it was closed for the night. So I couldn't even do like an alternative tube route to Harrow and Wealdstone or like wherever there was an overground station that would get me a train to Milton Keynes. I had luckily been paying attention to my surroundings and noticed a McDonald's drive-through on the walk from Wembley to Wembley Park station. So I went and sat in there. There was nowhere to charge my phone. Luckily, my phone survived on 1% from about 2 o'clock till like 4:30. But basically I had to sit in McDonald's for about 4 or 5 hours until the first train of the day, or the first tube of the day, with no medication, in agony, no brace other than the wrist brace I was wearing. I didn't have any compression wrap, I didn't have any KT tape. I was completely screwed. Lol, so my camera stopped recording and I didn't notice. I don't know if this is even focused or straight, but anyway, so yeah, this girl offered me her seat and I was like crying at her like, yes please, thank you. Oh my god, I don't know where I was because I said so much before I realized it stopped recording. I collected up, okay, so where I'm from, Buckingham doesn't have any homeless people, and where I'm from, most of the homeless people in the town are drug addicts who aren't actually homeless. They're just trying to scam you out of their money, which is what happened to a friend of mine. You know, my friends from high school and college that all ditched me after I got diagnosed. Those people. One of those got scammed out of the money. So I don't really like trust homeless people or people who ask for money very easily. So I didn't want to get my card out in case they asked me for more. I felt a bit uncomfortable. I don't carry change, so I couldn't exactly just like give them the exact change for a hot drink. But I felt kind of bad for him because I watched him wander around for like hours on end. So I collected up some stickers from the hot drinks and gave him the thing, and he got somebody else, like another woman. He just like found somebody and he was like, hey, do you mind going in and getting me a drink? And she was like, yeah, sure. And she got him the free drink and also got him some food as well, which was kind of nice. And then ended up sitting outside with her friend, the homeless guy, and one of his friends, and I rolled him a cigarette because, like, yeah, I know how to roll cigarettes. So I was just being nice. Yeah, and we shared life stories. I gave that woman life advice for how to cope after she got a divorce. What do I know about life after a divorce? I don't know. But anyway, my phone was like dead-ish. It was on 8% when I got in there, and it was on 1% from about 2 o'clock, which is like an hour after I got there, until 4:30. I literally checked the time and it said 4:30, and then my phone died, and I was like, great. So I decided, like, the first tube of the day, I think, out of Wembley Central Station was at about 18 minutes past 5, if I remember rightly. And it was about an 18-minute walk from the stadium, and it took me 10 minutes to walk from the stadium to the McDonald's, even though they are like, it's like a 2-minute walk, but you know, my hip was hurting. So I was like, okay, I have about 40-50 minutes, I'll just walk slow, because I didn't know the route to like go straight from the McDonald's like round, so I had to walk to Wembley, around Wembley, and the way I'd walked into Wembley, like back on myself. And this guy fell off his bike and I like helped him, cheered him up a bit, you know, putting some positive things out into the world. Hopefully they'll get returned to me. Actually, you know how I gave a bobble to a girl? A girl gave me a bobble on Saturday, so what you give, you get back. That's all I'm saying. Be nice to people. Don't hold them hostage until all the tubes leave and leave them stranded in London in agony with no medication. I know you guys might think I'm being dramatic, but like, I have a disability and they weren't taking me seriously, that I was fine, that I just needed to get home, and instead they held me hostage until I could not get home. That's why I'm mad, that's why I'm putting in the complaint. Like, yes, Aaron giving me his phone number was inappropriate. Yes, Ryan didn't do his job properly by not checking me over, but when it really comes down to it, the thing I was mad about is that they held me so they could check me and make sure I was okay, and then they didn't do that. So they held me for an hour and a half for literally no reason when I was telling them I was fine and I needed to go home. So I got the tube at 5:18, I got a train at like 6:30, I got home and I literally just slept for like all of Monday, pretty much. And that's the story. That's why I'm mad at Wembley. As I said, crying on the phone to Jerry that night, they ruined the concert for me. I remember watching BTS, their debut stage in 2013. I, at the time, was like new-ish to K-pop. I'd only been listening for a couple years, and like I had like EXO and AOA. I wasn't looking for other groups. I didn't really know much about K-pop aside from those, and like a couple of other songs. Plus they just debuted, so like I didn't want to get into a new group. But I eventually became a stan and started standing them April 22nd of 2014. So I literally waited just over 5 years to see them in concert. But as I said to Jerry, it was not worth it. If I had to do it all over again, go through all of that pain, all of that arsing around, and get stuck in London overnight again just to see BTS, honestly, breaks my heart to say this, but I wouldn't do it. I would not do it. And now every time I watch those videos, every time I think about that concert, every time I even like look at my army bomb, I just get sad. Like I wore this to my exam today because I was like, oh, it'd be good luck to have my boys. But like as I was walking to campus, I just got really sad. Like they haven't ruined BTS for me. Like I still listen to them. I still like watch my concert videos, like whatever. But the fact of the matter is I waited 5 years to go to that concert and I have nothing but bad memories. Like yes, I had fun during the actual like time that the boys were on stage, but that was such a small part of everything I had to go through that day that like it just really doesn't seem worth it to me. And like I'm glad I went. I would have hated myself if I didn't go. I would have been so sad. Like you should have seen me. I cried for so long after Wembley Day 1 sold out and I didn't get a ticket. And I was so excited when they announced Day 2. And I got a ticket and I was literally I then started crying with happiness for like a week straight. Like you can ask Jerry, like I was a freaking mess the day that we got that ticket. Thank you to him, by the way, because I used his iPad and his Ticketmaster account to get it. But like, honestly, I wouldn't do it again. Like I know I had trouble at the Monster X concert with the concert running over and me missing the last train of the night, but I still got home. Like I still found a route home that night. I didn't have to stay in London overnight. And it wasn't anyone's fault other than the concert just started late, which could happen to anybody. With Victon, the most that happened was I almost passed out, but like Ho-chan had my back, so. And also Sophie and her friend, who were really lovely, who I met at the concert. We were like in a group chat and then I met up with her in the queue. I've done concerts on my own before and they were fine, so I didn't see why I wouldn't. And those were standing as well. I was sat down for BTS, so I thought I would be fine going on my own. But like Wembley have kind of ruined concerts for me now. Like I never want to go to a concert on my own ever again. I don't care if I never see another K-pop group ever again, because nobody I know wants to come with me. I just won't go. Like I point blank refuse. I'm not going through that again. I'm not risking it. Will I ever see BTS again? If somebody comes with me, sure. If I know 100% I can get there when I want to get there and I can leave when I want to leave, then sure. And I know that like nothing is guaranteed in life. Things are always like gonna divert from the plan, but like not like they did that night. That is crazy. And it really shouldn't have happened and it was really shitty. And yes, I'm mad at Wembley. And I know that like they're just trying to do their jobs. This is like whenever I tell people this, they're like, oh, you're being so dramatic. They were just doing their jobs. Okay, if they were just doing their jobs, then fine. But did Ryan do his job? No, he watched me scroll through Facebook. Was Aaron doing his job? No, he got me BTS merch and gave me his number. I'm not even sure what his job was. I don't even know who he was. Okay? I'm really trying hard not to cry. I don't know if you can tell. I keep tearing up and then like getting rid of them. I refuse. Not a fun night. Not a fun concert. See, part of me wants to be like, but you saw BTS. After all this time, you saw BTS. So that positive outweighs all of the other negatives. But I was in so much pain. And I was in pain. I was vulnerable. I was helpless. Anything could have happened to me when I left that stadium. Like, I get it. They were just doing their jobs, but they weren't. And like, I was sat with Ryan and we were going through the train times and I was like, okay, I need to leave now, otherwise I'm not gonna get this train. And he was like, oh, too bad the tube stopped running. And I was like, the options were get me to a tube station or get me to hospital, and you waited until one of those was no longer an option and then told me the other one wasn't gonna happen either. What do you want from me? Like, what are you trying to do? And then he just fucks off. He's like, okay, you're on the phone to your boyfriend. I'm gonna go now. Nice meeting you. Bye. Like, they were really sweet to me, okay? Both Aaron and Ryan were very, very sweet to me. And I'm very grateful for how, like, caring and understanding and blah, blah, blah. But the fact of the matter is, what it all boils down to is they held me captive in Wembley and wouldn't let me leave until I physically could not leave London. How is that even remotely okay? Hey Jordan, please tell me she's replied. It's alright, I'm filming a video about how traumatic Wembley was. I'm having a great day too. Oh, okay. Huh? I've drafted it, but I haven't actually sent it off. Okay. Sound. I mean, it is recording. They will hear that. What is in here? There's a keychain that won't come out. Oh, it's like a little, oh, so you can clip it onto something. Oh, I lost it. Yeah, well, aside from my little BTS bottle, he also gave it me in a BTS bag. But like, that's not the point. The point is, he was very inappropriate by giving me his phone number. And him and Ryan screwed me the fuck up. Okay, if anyone's wondering, like, why I'm not mad at the women who went to get Wembley stuff, they were doing it out of kindness. They were doing it because they were actually concerned about my safety. They did offer to, like, walk with me to a tube station, but then after talking to them for a little bit, they decided that, like, they needed to get somebody, which I completely understand. I'm not mad at them at all, because they are mothers. They are just concerned for my well-being, and like, they were so sweet to me. But ultimately, like, they couldn't have like kept me on the ground in Wembley. Like, they couldn't have just like restrained me on the ground. But Wembley wheeled me inside, like kidnapping me, took me hostage, and didn't let me leave. I literally, the second Ryan was out of my eyesight, I freaking legged it as fast as I could hobble, which wasn't very fast. So when I say I legged it, I mean like tortoise pace, not hare pace, but point is I got the frick out of there before anyone could stop me. I don't know if they actually filed an instant report. I don't know how things are going on their end, but I'm sure they would love to read my complaint all about it, don't you? Yeah, so I am actually filing a formal complaint about it because they fucked me over. So yeah, had no medication. Also remember the ticket that I bought, my return ticket, it's completely useless, so I had to buy a new ticket, obviously, because it was no longer valid, because it was past midnight, it was a new day, a new dawn, blah blah blah. But anyway, yeah, I had a really fun time at the concert, and 10 out of 10 would do it again. I'm just so mad at myself because I feel like if I was more vocal and like yelled at, is this still recording? If I like yelled at them a bit more and was like, nah, fuck you, and like hobbled away from them, then maybe they would have let me go. I don't know. I didn't like push it because these people said that they were doing what was best for me and that they were going to take care of me and they were going to make sure I was okay before they let me go. So I followed them because they were in a position of authority and I put my trust in them and they ultimately betrayed me. I really need to stop trusting older men, don't I? How many more references of this holiday can I get into a video before I fall apart? If nobody knows, if you're all too new or like this is the first video of mine that you're watching and you have absolutely no idea what happened in Cuba, good. But for the rest of you, is this funny? I don't know. I feel like joking about it's probably a good thing. Anyway, this video is far too long and I'm gonna keep making inappropriate jokes if we carry on. So, I'm gonna love you and leave you and end it here. Oh, okay, actually, no wait, one more thing. The pain in my hip didn't actually like go away. I'm still having problems with my hip a week later. It popped out today in my exam and caused me a lot of trouble. But also, like, the whole of my left side went into spasm and my ribs kept like sliding in and out of place. I couldn't sleep on my side. I mean, I still can't really sleep on my side. I couldn't breathe too deep or too harshly. I couldn't laugh. I couldn't sneeze. Like, I was in so much pain because of this freaking hip dislocation because they wouldn't just let me go home and treat it. Yeah, I have no energy or desire to do this. Ugh, I'm just in a bad mood now. I bummed myself out. I had a really good exam, aside from the hip problem. I had a really good concert, aside from the hip problem. But yes, that is it for this week's video, guys. If you'd like to be sure to give a big thumbs up, as always, in the description, so make sure you can follow me, subscribe, and I'll see you next time with a brand new video. Ciao! Mwah. I'll leave you with this lovely video of me screaming to Boy With Love, and Jordan just say bye. Bye!